I'm going to give to my transplant team. Let's see if I can do this. I haven't given them to them yet. I went and got them printed, and they are 20 by 20s, and they are printed on metal. And this one, I wanted to name it my angel. And the other one that I have is this one. And the green butterfly is supposed to represent my donor, because butterflies represent resurrection and hope and life. So let's see. I wrote a blog and I have it right here. So I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was 10 years old, and I was kind of an idiot. I didn't really take care of myself, so obviously I'm in the situation I am in today. I'm 26 years old, by the way. When I found out, I got stung by a bee. I went in to get it checked for swelling, and they checked my blood pressure, and it was like 210 over something, and they looked at me like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, I feel fine, I don't know. And so they did blood work, and they found out that my kidney function was at 26%. And so they gave me blood pressure medicine, and I started taking that, and I noticed a couple weeks later that I started to get swelling in my feet. So I could feel like the water bouncing in my feet as I walked. And then in November, this was 2015. So in November, December of 2015, I started to notice that I would get really cold. And I was really tired and found out that I was anemic. So on top of that, I was always like in a blanket, or I had a blow dryer that I'd always use, and I literally use that probably every single day, that I just sit with the blow dryer and try to keep myself warm. Let's see, the next month, they did some more testing and found out that my kidney function kept dropping. And so the nephrologist was like, hey, well, you need to probably get a transplant. And so in March, I was at 20%, and I was in stage 5 of kidney failure. And I got my packet from the transplant team, and you have to do all the testing before, so I did all that between, it was April and May. I probably went to 50 different doctor's appointments, and during that whole time I was super sick, and I was really cold, and I really couldn't function. And I decided to get a kidney and a pancreas, so I would get rid of the diabetes. That was huge, because this is what caused the kidney failure in the first place. And the sad thing about that is that the donor has to be deceased, and so that was hard, but I just felt like that was the best decision to do. And so in May, I was able to finally meet with the transplant team, and you meet with all the doctors and whatever, and I met with a surgeon, and he was kind of telling me, he's like, okay, we'll give you, your kidney and your pancreas, we'll keep the old organs in, but we'll also take out your appendix and your gallbladder. And I was sitting there, I was like, well, gall, and so I said to him, I was like, well, you might as well just give me a boob job while you're at it. So he kind of just looked at me, and he was like, no. I was like, okay, fine, I tried. But in June, I had an angiogram and a liver test. That were my last things to do. And I passed the angiogram with flying colors, and the liver test, I found out that I had gallbladder disease, so that was making me really sick. So I got on the list in June. I had 5 different calls before I was able to get my 6th call, which was back in January, and just this January, and that was my call to go in. And the problem with that is I turned 26 on December 31st, and I didn't have insurance after that. And so that was really stressful, and my parents were able to pull through to get an extension on my insurance. So that was a huge blessing, or else I would have had to pull $400,000 out of something to get my transplant. But anyway, so if you scroll down a little bit, this shows me in the hospital. I was 150 pounds swollen. I never wanted to go on dialysis. My kidney function was at 5%. They took tons of blood work to make sure I was good to go. Keep going. And then those are my parents, huge support system. Right before going into surgery. Keep going. So then that morning it took 6-7 hours for the transplant, and it was good. The surgeon said I received like the best organs I could have ever received. And that day they had me walking in ICU, which is crazy after that huge of a surgery. My incision is about 12 inches long. It's about here to here. Then, let's see, keep going. Keep going. These are just some more pictures. Kind of shows me walking around. I was in the hospital for about a week. And I felt actually really good. And the first time I was able to eat, they gave me Jell-O, and they were like, okay, what kind do you want? I said, I'll take all 3, thanks. My dog was able to come visit, which was really fun, and my nieces and nephews. Then I was discharged a week later. They said I was doing really well, and I was able to go home. I was kind of freaking out because I really actually enjoyed being at the hospital, which was really surprising, but they didn't want me to get sick. So this is about 2 weeks after my transplant, if you keep going. That's my feet. That was before and after with the swelling. And there's my incision. But yeah, so I have not had insulin for 3 months, and I'm feeling great. So